Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little bit of a action-packed show for you today. We know that it's Game 4. We will preview the Knicks Game 4 matchup against the Boston Celtics. Of course, we might go over some of the old games. Game 3, we know that that was a big-time disappointing loss. Will the Knicks be able to bounce back? What went wrong? We'll also talk about KarlAnthony Towns and his alleged finger injury. Josh Hart. A lot of people are asking, should we bring him off the bench? Of course, we got smoke of the week. We also got comment of the week, word on the street, and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Welcome to This Week Inside the Knicks. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes. This is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 3 of the 25 playoffs. Okay, it's going down. Salute to you, John Bryce, and salute to everybody else that'll be joining in the building. I won't be on too much long today. I didn't want to cancel the show. I had a lot to do this afternoon. So I wanted to make sure I get the pod in so we could preview Game 4 and talk about some of the topics. I will be talking about some of the topics that took place between the time frame of May 5th to the 11th. And a couple of things happened. I'm very happy. Not happy over the loss, but I'm optimistic. Salute to Ron from Still Knicks Fans. He hit me up asking me, how do I feel going into this game? And honestly, I feel pretty good. You just slide over a little bit. Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, I knew that the Boston Celtics were going to respond the way they did, and it is what it is. As far as Game 5, I know I said I might want to attend a watch party. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the watch party. But I'll let you guys know if things change, but I will do a post-game show. The post-game recap of the game, like how we did. I will be doing that Wednesday night after Game 5. I'm trying to get any other updates. Of course, Call-Up Show will be back Friday, 10:45 p.m. And any other updates, I'll let you guys know in the community section. All right, so let me get into the research mode. So, of course, this podcast is equipped with a blog. thisweekinsidethenix.com. You can go there and you will be able to see all of the news each and every Monday from the previous week. Some things you may have missed, some things you may want to catch up on. All you have to do is go to thisweekinsidethenix.com. Okay. Salute to J-Tap. I see you in the building early. He says the offense hasn't clicked. Yeah, we will get to the offense in a second. And honestly, J-Tap, that is a key fact to what I'm going to talk about as well. It's like, and we knew Boston was going to respond at some point, but we still haven't seen the Knicks get into their bag. So J-Tap, yeah, that's a great point. But as you come in, also make sure you hit that like button so more cool Knicks fans could, get in tune to what we're talking about on this channel. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon so you get all the notifications. Sometimes YouTube does wacky stuff. And yeah, it's crazy. But you go to thisweekinsidethenix.com and you'll see. So I'll give you a preview. When you get to the homepage, you're going to see this pop up, right? Like this, right? All you got to do, there's multiple ways. You can click on the playoffs, right? That's one way. Bam. And then episode 3, okay? Now, I didn't finish putting together the entire blog post yet. I will do it tonight. But I do got some topics that we will get into now, okay? So as we always do, we always start with some special highlights. There's a couple of more. I like I said, I will add everything I missed, but I do want to give everybody a belated happy Mother's Day to the mothers that listen to the show, to the fellas that do tune in, to all your wives and to your mothers, happy belated Mother's Day. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. I was able to spend time of course, with my lady, and I also was able to spend time with my mom. It was a really cool day, very chill, very relaxed. And we got to take time to honor the mothers, right? So Jaylen Brunson's mother, Sandra Brunson, she basically was making some commentary about, just being Jaylen Brunson's mom. She says it feels amazing to be the mother of an NBA superstar. Salute to JB. He's a superstar. I'm riding with that. It's a blessing. I know how hard Jaylen worked for this, how much he sacrificed, and it's fun for me to see him living his dream, Sandra says. At the same time, we have a very public relationship, so I have to be careful when cheering from the stands. Salute to Sandra Brunson. So, yeah, she was quoted there for Mother's Day, and they released it. So, got to take care of the mothers, man. And one thing we know, Jaylen Brunson definitely worked hard. His parents sacrificed a lot for him to get to the point where he's at now. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm grateful that Sandra was able to raise such a young, phenom who just so happened to become a superstar of the New York Knicks. So happy Mother's Day once again. And salute to Sandra Brunson, all right? So I'm going to move forward. Like I said, I'm going to be moving a little faster today. Got to make sure I wrap this up in a good time. All right, so to stick on Jaylen Brunson. So, of course, a lot of the good news we've seen has came after game 2 from this weekly period. So after game 2, everybody was ready to count the Knicks as champions. So Jaylen Brunson, he was awarded an official NYC sandwich, and you can try the buzzer beater, and it's named after him. So 3 local shops, they created a created a sandwich for Jaylen Brunson, right? And you could order it via DoorDash. I'm going to try to see if they say the restaurants. They also got a Captain Clutch. Where's the restaurants, though? Says decline. Okay. Brunson sample. Brunson tried it, right? The turkey confit, the sweet potato, broccoli rabe. But I thought they had the thingies in here. Oh, Court Street Grocers. Oh, yeah. So you could go to Court Street Grocers. That's what I was. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And they got the sandwiches there now. Okay. You could get, if you want to support and you want to rock out. This is him trying it out. So salute to Brunson, man. Getting the honors for that he deserves. And it's like I said, it's funny that the news is so positive. You would think the Knicks are going to win a championship, right after they win that game. And then once game 3 hits, whoosh. That's why, and Josh Hart was quoted for saying this recently, we don't get too high on our wins and too low off the losses. So I think that's how you have to stay even killed, especially when you got a lot of basketball left. We got 2 more wins to go. I'm hoping that we could get the 2 in a row, and I'm confident we could get the game 4 win tonight. But at the same time, fans, when we do win, we get, we just take it to a whole nother level. So yeah, Jaylen Brunson has a buzzer beater sandwich named after him. You could go check it out on that store that I just stated. All right. Now I do want to also give a special highlight to Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce. Let me see if I got the footage. Paul Pierce. Okay. He's made a bet. Right. Once again, fans can be so arrogant and cocky, right? So Paul Pierce made a bet that in game 2 the Celtics would win, and he said that. Let me see if I get the actual bet. Hold on. See if I get the actual quote. Okay, I just got the aftermath. He said he never put in a bet, but he made a statement. I don't got the exact statement, but what he said was that he would walk to work, which is like a 20-mile walk. He would walk to work if the Knicks beat the Celtics in game 2. And lo and behold, he had to take the walk of shame in his bathrobe. He was supposed to be barefoot. So he is wearing, looks like sandals or socks, or I don't know what it is. But, he got on sneakers. See, look, he cheated us. Paul Pierce cheated us. He was supposed to be barefoot, right? He said he was going to wear his bathrobe barefoot, and he would walk to work, which was 20 miles away. He didn't do that. Paul Pierce, you reneged on the bet. And honestly, I don't believe he really walked. I really don't believe he walked that far. He probably just got out the car, took some videos of him walking, and tried to make it seem like he walked. He had the GPS location and all this stuff. But I'm letting you know, Paul Pierce, that you didn't honor the bet. Let me see. Celtics, great promise on set. That he walked in the studio in bathrobe the following day. Okay, here it goes. If the Celtics lose game 2 at home, I promise you I'm walking here 15 miles, Pierce said. In my robe, no shoes, bare feet. Do you see him barefoot in any of these images? At least if you're going to fake the walk, you could at least been barefoot. Okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to give a special highlight to Paul Pierce going crazy. And I do got some smoke of the week talking about some Celtics people. And we're going to continue giving them the fire and the smoke, even though they won game 3. Let me see what you guys talking about before I move on. Let's see. John Bryce says, just because we came back from 20 in the first 2 games doesn't mean it's sustainable. Nah. We could easily be down 3-0. No, I'm not riding that narrative to John, because if the Knicks offense showed up in game 3 and the game was close down the stretch, I give the Knicks the edge. So I don't like to play the if game, because most of the time we going to play the if game to how we see it, right? How we a narrative that we want to push. Not to say that you pushing negative narratives, John Bryce, but I just don't want you to fall into the rabbit hole of ESPN and all these other commentators that are there to follow narratives and you know, paint the Knicks in a negative light. So I don't want you to fall for that trap. I don't care about, it could be 0-2, it could be 3-0, it could be whatever it could be. The bottom line is it's 2-1. We lost 1 game. You saw the Denver Nuggets respond after their 40-point beatdown. You seen the Pacers respond after they're getting blown out. So each game is different. Like Coach Tibbs says, each game is different. Each series is different. So, yeah, you can't look at game 3 and think game 4 will be the same. J-Tap says, does Uber Eats deliver to Cali? Salute to you, J-Tap. That would be nice. And Knicks will be Chan says, Paul Pierce did not walk no 20 miles. Yeah, I think he faked it. I think he capping. I think he was capping. Okay, that's all the special highlights I'm going to cover today. Like I said, the blog is not done. It's not completed. I will finish it tonight. But these are the topics today I want to talk about anyway, because you know on the podcast, we don't normally talk about everything, because I couldn't talk about everything. And this week had so much news that I felt like it was just 2 weeks of news and in a 1 week time span, right? And a lot of it, like I said, was positive because the Knicks won. So I do want to talk about, and once again, guys, if I didn't do a topic rundown, I could do one real quickly. Hopefully at the top. Okay, so this is what we'll be talking about. We're going to get into the flagship will be the Game 4 preview. I might review Game 3 a little bit, but I will definitely touch on some of the news that came from Game 3. Whatever other playoff push news is there that we could get, that we have time for, I'll get into as well. KarlAnthony Towns, him, you know, saying he broke his finger. We're going to get into that as well. Josh Hart, I don't have it here on the list, but I do want to talk about Josh Hart. And I think I'm going to do that right now. Josh Hart, there's been talk about him coming off the bench. And I want to say this. I think that right now, the way the Knicks are constructed and the way things are going, I don't think you move Josh Hart to the bench right now. I think that you have to continue as you've been constructed, because one, you see, while the double big lineup has yielded a lot of positive results, there are still like things that need improvement, right? 3-point defense when the big lineup is in there is one. 2, Mitchell Robinson is becoming, like, the first 2 games it was all right, but his missed free throws played a role in the loss. I'm not blaming Mitchell Robinson on that. And we're going to talk more about Mitchell Robinson free throws. But I don't think that you have a guy off the bench that I would be comfortable starting right now, because I don't think they had the reps and no one is killing it off the bench. Usually you make a bench change when you got somebody off the bench putting in work, right? Like if you had a 6-man caliber player who was shining, like a Peyton Pritchard, for example, right? And the Celtics had a starter that wasn't performing. Okay, let's start Peyton Pritchard, but I can't justify removing Josh Hart from the starting lineup and you don't really have no one to replace him with, right? Now, if we had let's say Josh Hart was just stinking up the joint, which he's not. I mean, yes, he's not. His three-point shooting could be better, could be more consistent. His shooting is not the greatest, but besides that, he's rebounding, he's hustling, he's doing a lot. I would say the one guy I would consider would be Precious to put him in the starting lineup. Problem is, Precious is not getting a lot of time. I don't think Precious played 10 minutes in the playoffs. So Precious to me is the guy I feel like I would like to see him more in situations where he had to guard Jaylen Brown, right? And of course, Coach Thibodeau is not going to do it, and I'm going to talk more about Precious a little bit later, but I just wanted to touch on the Josh Hart starting. I don't think it's a good idea to remove him from the starting lineup because you don't really have nobody to replace him with, right? And the one guy who would probably be the best guy, because I would love to see him matched up with Brown, would be Precious, but that's not going to happen. So I'm not on that Josh Hart to the bench train. By the way, if you just joined the show, make sure you get that like button. Salute the On Dios. I see you, the Superman in the building. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Salute to Darlene Bryan. I see you in the house. Who else is up in here? George Bryce. Salute to you, George Bryce. Finally caught me on the live. George, you actually came on the call-up show towards the end of the call-up show. George says, I'm a little disappointed. We could bounce back tonight. Yeah, I think we're going to bounce back. And once again, this is not a negative stream, y'all. This is not a Debbie Downer stream. I don't do Debbie Downer. I'm optimistic. We're up, right? No reason to don't think that we can't do well. We've seen it. It's just too many examples in this playoffs of a team getting blown out by 40 and then coming back and winning the game, right? Indiana get blown out in game 3, coming back and blew out Cleveland, right? So every game is different. Every series is different, okay? And that's why you guys come in. Salute to Keith. I can't understand how come NBA players are being paid such a huge amount of money and cannot make free throws. Uh-oh. I'm going to get to Mitch. You know what? Let's get to Mitch free throws now. Since you want to set it up, let's get to Mitch now. And Knicks will be champs says the second unit need more leadership. Yeah, but Knicks will be champs. I understand that. But who are you replacing Josh Hart with? That's the problem. Yes, I don't mind Josh going to the bench. It's just that the guy you're going to replace him with, I don't think is going to do a better job than him. So why are we making it like Josh Hart is the problem and putting him on the bench? That's just how I see it. But when Knicks will be chance, when you respond, I'll read that out. But I'm going to get into Mitchell Robinson's free throws, okay? Let's get into the free throws. Now, I think right now, his free throws is now negatively affecting the Knicks because the Celtics offense was clicking. So it'd be one thing if the Celtics were shooting bad, and I think the game would have been close and we could have overcame the odds, right? But 4 for 12 from the line, right? That's 8 missed free throws. And you know how bad the Knicks struggle. You know what? Let me just put it up on the screen. You know how bad the Knicks struggle from the free throw line has been, right? Trying to get attempts up. So now you get 12 attempts, right? And I'm going to pull up because I don't remember how many free throws we shot in the game as a total. But if free throws are tough to come by and you got a guy missing 8 free throws and he's not even the scorer like that, that's a problem. We went 24 for 35. 24 for 35 from the free throw line. That's not going to get it done. Now, it's not the whole picture. It's not the whole picture at all, because even though we won the rebounding battle, right, the only reason why the Celtics were not as dominant on the glass, and this is like, I don't want to make it seem like everything is an exact science, because it's not, but typically when a team's shooting 50% from 3 and damn near 50% from the field, they're not going to get as many rebounds, right? But I think that, we need to continue being dominant on the glass. I do like from us 17 offensive rebounds, but once again, 17 offensive rebounds because we're not shooting well. Okay. But our offense needs to get going, but Mitchell Robinson, to bring it back to where we was at, and we could talk more about the rest of the game, but Mitchell Robinson's free throws, to me, for the first time, has impacted us, because 35 free throws is not something that is a norm anyway, right? And if you minus the 12, now you're looking at where you probably be at around 20, okay? And to me also, too, the hack of Mitch strategy is a weak-ass strategy. First off, let me just say this. The hack of Mitch was something that came from Hack of Shaq. Now, I'm not sure if dudes back in the 80s and in the 70s were doing it. I don't know. But where I first seen this hack of something came from Hack of Shaq, where you can't stop the guy, so you put him on the free throw line, and because he's going to kill you either way, and you know he's not a good free throw shooter, so you miss shots. Only in recent times, I think you've seen it with a couple of other guys. I'm trying to think of some other examples where you see in a Hack of Shaq. I think Dwight Howard got it. Dwight Howard got fouled. A couple of other centers got fouled. But it's normally for a center that is so dominant you can't stop. You don't never see it for a dude that's not a threat to score. And Joe Mazzulla consistently says that, you know, Mitchell Robinson is the one player they game plan for. And I get it. He is a force on the glass. But at the same time, he's not a force to score. Like, I mean, to me, it's a weak strategy. But on our end, right, we're going to have to. One of the suggestions I was going to make, and I'll do it now, was that Precious Achiuwa needs to play anytime they employ Hacker Mitch. So once you see them foul Mitch that first time, and Precious has to come in the game, because you can't risk him being a detriment to the offense. And as soon as he put Precious in the game the last time, he had 5 straight buckets. So yeah, Mitchell Robinson, something has to change. And we do got a Hall of Famer, right? And I think he might be, is Rick Barry a top 75? I'm not sure if Rick Barry's top 70. He might be. Anyway, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Rick Barry, right, he made a suggestion. And he says that it's time for Mitchell Robinson, right, to go with the granny free throws. The underhanded free throws. How you guys feel about that? Does Mitch need to go underhand to shoot the free throw? I'm going to say this too, like, I don't play as much organized, like, tournament basketball as I used to. And the last year I played in a full court 5-on-5 tournament, right? It was actually a Father's Day event. And my jump shot, my jump shot is pretty good, right? So when I played in the tournament, when it's time to warm up, I'm hitting jump shots like it's nothing. My jump is water, right? Dudes is like, dang, he got a gun on him, right? I get in the game, bro. I get fouled. I go to the line. I can't hit a free throw, man. You know why? Because I don't work on free throws enough. So, to the comment to my man who said earlier that you get paid millions. If I got paid millions of dollars, my free throw would be water. I just wasn't working on it like that, And so I'm not saying Mitch is not working on his free throws, but I'm going to say when your free throw game is not up to par and you get into a big moment, it's going to be hard to make free throws, man. So maybe he needs to take Rick Barry's advice and go underhand. I don't know. Maybe that's what he needs to do. Aaron Judge, he said that Jaylen Brunson, they was looking towards each other for inspiration, and the Yankees, they were in a tough circumstance, not as dominant as we thought they should be, even though I think the Yankees are still first place. But Aaron Judge says, and for the Knicks to have a 2-game lead is impressive. They've been up. They've been down big, come back. Some great clutch plays at the end on the offensive side and defensive side. I wish we could catch a game. So that was Aaron Judge talking about Jaylen Brunson. Not going to spend too much time on that, but the two captains connecting. hopefully the Yankees can really turn it up. I haven't watched too much Yankee baseball, but salute to them. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has a quote here. After the Celtics get the statement win, Jaylen Brown says the Knicks has to beat them 4 times. Right? They got to beat us 4 times. Right? That's what it's got to come down to. Not twice, not 3. Got to win 4 times, and he's right. The Knicks, we gotta. I feel like the old media and casual fans crowned us too early, crowned us too fast. I'm gonna say I may have jumped the gun too, because I said that Knicks in 5, even though it still could be Knicks in 5. I mean, my updated prediction is not in jeopardy. We have to win tonight. But coming into the series, I said Knicks in 7. Because I believed it would be a long series. Even when we said 4-0 sweep, I was never really on board with that because these guys are the defending champions. You don't just 4-0 people. Like, it's hard to only people that got 4-0 in the playoffs is Miami, who shouldn't even been in the playoffs, and Memphis, who got all types of issues. You know, they fired their coach, but teams don't just get 4-0 in the postseason. You like, especially when you get to the second round, when the competition becomes more fierce, you ain't going to just 4-0 nobody. You might 4-1 them, but you ain't going to 4-0 nobody. So Brown is right, and I think that the Knicks Game 3, we took our foot off the gas, for sure. Guaranteed, we took our foot off the gas. I really do believe that even though they spoke the game, they didn't play the game. They said that, oh, yeah, you know, it ain't over. It's 0-0. You know, all that talk is great. But when you get on the floor, does your play communicate that confidence? Does your play, like on the call-up show, salute to everybody that listened to the call-up show. It was a 5-hour call-up show. And then, like, towards the end of the show, me and my man JJPNYC, and we also got a caller for Coney Island. We started talking about Brooklyn, and then, you know, start going over our upbringing and things of that nature. And, you know, I used to play in some really hostile environments. You know, I mean, you go to certain neighborhoods and you got the buildings and people looking out the buildings. Who are these dudes? I want to play. So anytime I step on the court, I know that environment cannot match what I went through coming up in Brooklyn, right? But my confidence always shows. I'm so confident in my game, I never will sway from that. So I say that to say when you're up 2-0, it's hard to not feel that. It's hard to not have that impact your play. Like, I'm not going to die for the ball. Because you see Boston, their life is on the line. Cleveland in their game 3, life on the line. Get to game 4, lay an egg. Not to say that's what the Celtics are going to do. I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to blow the Celtics out, but I do think we could win this game because we're due for a good game at Madison Square Garden, but our offense also needs to make an appearance, and I think it will. Hopefully it does tonight. OG Anobi, he has to show up. 1 of 6 is not getting it done. I'm going to talk more about OG in a second, but Joe Mazzulla was just giving OG his props. And another thing, too, about the Celtics, they are very humble. Very, very humble. Coach Tibbs, proving he won't change. You know, before I get into this article, let me see it, because I do got some more people in the chat. I want to see what you guys talking about, because I was waiting for Knicks will be chance to respond. Knicks will be chance says start Mitch, have either Josh or Mikal come off the bench. But so Knicks will be chance. Here's the problem. What happens to your starter rotation? Are you going to keep Mitch out there? You going to bring Mitch off the bench for the 6 minutes? I guess you could do that. You bring Mitch off the bench for the 6 minute mark. let Towns play the whole quarter, then come back in the second quarter with Mitch. Maybe you could work that. But the way the rotation is now, though, Towns plays 7 minutes in the first quarter, then Mitch will come in. I don't know. I mean, also the problem with Mitch too, though. All right, so here's the problem, right? So now Towns, if you start Mitch, now who's guarding Tatum or Brown? Now I like that. I would love to put Towns on Brown, but Coach Tibbs clearly doesn't have the confidence to do that. But I would love to put size, because one of my keys to victory is size on Brown. You got to put bigger guys on them because he's going to take advantage of a Mikal Bridges. Even though Mikal Bridges and him is the same height, he has more size on him than Mikal, right? He's a contact driver. He's going to drive through you. So you got to put size on Brown. I mean, it's worth a shot. I just don't like to change the starting lineup right now because I feel like they need time to work on that double big lineup. It's just not. It's not smooth. I mean, yeah, on the defensive end, there's some good things they do on the interior, but now pick and pop scenarios, I don't know if I'm that confident with starting the double big lineup. I don't mind bringing it off the bench because the Celtics play big off the bench. So anytime Luke Kornet comes in the game, Mitchell Robinson should come in the game. That's just how I see it, right? Because we already know how dominant the Celtics can be on the glass. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Rick Barry's been saying that for decades. Facts. Mitch gets millions to block shots and rebound. That's true. That's true. Not to make free throws necessarily, but his free throws are becoming a detriment. Darlene says whatever it takes for Mitch to be better at the free throw. I agree. Joey says Yankees are ish this year. Damn. I agree. We need more pressures, George says. Facts. Okay. Ondio says Knicks will be fire. Okay, I'm riding with you, Ondios. Let's see. JB would have cat in foul trouble. Okay. OG is always going to be inconsistent. We're going to get to OG in a second. Salute to HR and the Great. I see you. Knicks Say Matters Discord server channel member. By the way, before I continue, I do want you guys gotta pay the commercial bills. We got the Captain 11 and we got the Bodega Cash shirt right here. You know what I'm saying? Definitely go check out these items. I'm gonna take you to the shop. All you gotta do is go to shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com and you will be able to see the cool merch that we got. Right now, the best sellers are the mugs. People love the mugs. The mugs, you can't go wrong with the mugs. Here are the mugs. We got the Bodega Cat mug, right? Let me click it. Okay, we got the Bodega Cat mug right here, right? Everybody loves these mugs. Starting at $13. Go get yourself a mug, right? We also got the Captain 11. Oh, I even got, being that we talking about This Week Inside the Knicks, I also got the This Week Inside the Knicks mug. You know what I'm saying? Got to give the This Week Inside the NYK show some love, right? But the Captain 11 mugs, these right here have been selling recently. The Captain 11 mugs, oh my God, people going crazy for the Captain 11 mugs. I think it's because Jaylen Brunson, he's been holding his own down, even though I'm not going to say he had the greatest game, but he did show up in the second half of that Boston Celtics game. So, go to the store, shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com or shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com. Either way, even on the blog, if you click on shop, when you go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, this website that's listed here, it'll take you to the shop. Go check out, go get yourself a mug. We also got the t-shirts, right? T-shirts are fire as well. This t-shirt here is the one that's behind me, right here. Great material, great quality, great price. Okay, shop that thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. All right. Now let me get back to where I was at. It was right here. Coach Tibbs, stubborn Coach Tibbs. Stubborn Coach Tibbs. Back in research mode. Okay. Tom Thibodeau proves he won't change, and Knicks fans know it. Now, everything was sweet just a game ago. Just a game ago, Coach Tibbs is doing a fantastic job. And honestly, if I have time, because I wrote out all the adjustments from game 1 and game 2. Game 3, not too many adjustments that I liked in game 3. But I might put together a 30 adjustments Coach Tibbs made in the second round. And we'll see how it goes. I don't want to give him the praise because we still got to win. If we don't win the round, I'm not doing it. But Coach Tibbs, to me, has been doing some really good things coaching-wise. We can't allow the game 3 loss. I mean, salute the Daily Knicks. I understand we got to write content, and that's what doing content is all about. But at the same time, I really do believe that, you know, Coach Tibbs, he is doing a better job than worse job. Now, yes, like I said, game 3, more Precious Achua. I mean, there's a lot of shortcomings, things that I felt like he should have tried differently, but it is what it is. As I see it, you just wasn't going to beat the Celtics. I mean, they knew their life was on the line, right? So you're playing against a team that, you know, they're dealing with their playoff existence, right? So Knicks' first half was a total disaster, wasn't nearly as aggressive or in sync. They allowed the Celtics to post a 157 offensive rating. That's crazy in those 2 quarters. That's not good. You're not going to win, right? Only so much you could do when Boston shoots 12 of 19 from deep, 63%. Yep, I wrote that down in my notes. Jason Tatum, wide open bunnies. I wouldn't say he had too many wide open bunnies. Some of them was off screens. Pick and pop defense has to be better. Pick and roll defense has to be better. Right, that's another adjustment in game 3 that they have to really work on. Knicks executed their switching, and that helped limit Boston to 25 third quarter points, less rotations. No idea what caused the first half performance. But I'm gonna tell you what caused the first half performance. And honestly, the switching has been, definitely the major key. I think what happened was, the Celtics started hitting open shots, something that they weren't doing in games 1 and 2, right? But like I said, these guys are the defending champions. I never expected them to be that bad. It's a good read. Go check this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a good read. You could check it out. All of the links I'm talking about, you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, click on episode 3. And you'll be able to see all the stuff we're talking about, all right? But, before I move off of this point, too, here's what I wanted to say. This narrative right here is only good or only bad when you lose and only good when you win because Joe Mazzulla stuck to his guns. Like I told you guys, I said this on the call-up show. There is no adjustments from Joe Mazzulla. There's no changing. They're not shifting up nothing. They're not switching up anything. They're going to continue to do the same thing. That's why I thought the Knicks were going to, and I still think the Knicks are going to win and could win in 5. But if not, I still think the Knicks can win in 7, because the Celtics are going to live and die by the 3, and we only got to get 2 more wins. So if the Celtics come out and shoot bad again, they're going to lose. So that's one win. Then the other win we got to grind out. But the bottom line is, they got on Joe Mazzulla for sticking to his guns, but Joe Mazzulla sticking to his guns got him the game 3 win. It got them the 61 win. I mean, this is the way Boston plays. They have 65 games where they made 15 threes or more. They average 48 threes a game. They shoot threes. They make the most threes, right? They take the most threes, right? Coach Thibodeau got us to where we are now. It got us the first 2 wins. What is he going to change? The only thing I think Tibbs should change is Precious Achua. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the one thing I'm like, yo, coach, you got to do something about Precious. Let's move this here. Let me move forward. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. By the way, if you just joined, this is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 3 of the playoff edition. This is some of the topics we're talking about. We're going over mostly a lot of the news items. I didn't preview game 4 yet. I will get to that. That is flagship topic. I didn't talk about Towns' finger. We're getting ready to talk about Towns' fingers as well, but these are some of the things we get into, and I'm going to move a little faster, okay? I was going to get into this article, but this is just I'm just going to put this up there as an example of OG Anunoby, the praise he got. This was pre-game 3. The numbers give a clear picture of how much OG Anobi shut down the Celtics, right? Another good read, right? Giving him the praise. But, when you lose, it's just things are going to be different. You're not going to get the same level of praise. Where's my town stuff at? If I don't see it, I'm just going to talk about it off the head. I'm not sure where it's at. Okay, cool. So I'll just talk about it off the head. So KarlAnthony Towns was quoted in the game. Thought I had it there. It's fine. I'll jump out of research mode. So KarlAnthony Towns apparently hurt his finger when he was wrestling with Luke Cornett in game 3 for the ball. Some of the press or some of the people there said that they heard KarlAnthony Towns said, "I broke it." So that took us down a whole rabbit hole, and I seen all types of content creators and people run with Towns being, his injury. And one thing I'm going to say is this. You can't go by what a player says in the heat of the moment of a game. If I say I broke it, it doesn't mean I actually broke it. Right? You won't know unless you get an X-ray, MRI, or all of the imaging tests that they got to determine structural damage. Until you get that report, which we never got in that report. Trust me, I've been looking for, I've been scouring, my feeder in the news to see if there's been any updates to KarlAnthony Towns and his injured finger or injured hand. Nothing popped up. He made a commentary after the end of the game where he kind of didn't want to allude to answering the question about his finger. He said, "No, don't worry. You'll hear about it soon enough." And just really downplaying the injury. And then we get word that yesterday he practiced. No minutes restriction, no nothing. Today, and I could put that on the screen because we're going to talk about that in a second. But today, when you look at, go to game 4, when you look at the injury report and just, all the information on the game tonight, he's not listed. So KarlAnthony Towns is not on the injury report. Okay, so all of this talk about he broke his finger. I mean, I ran through the gauntlet. I'm like, yo, dudes, do you have any reports saying that his finger was broken? We can't just jump off the deep end. Players in the heat of, the game, they're going to say whatever they got to say. So by him practicing and him not being on the injury report, it's safe to assume that Towns is fine. Okay? Towns is fine, and he will be playing tonight. So didn't even need a news article for that. Let me move forward. Anything from game 3, positive, negatives. We talked about the hacker Mitch from game 3. We talked about the Towns injury. What's the craze with this person, Timothy Chalamet? Was this the same guy that tweeted that we lost, and then Josh Hart was saying that he saw the tweet? Was this the same dude? Because his name comes up a lot about him being at the games. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I'm not the most fanned out celebrity dude. I'm not. So I respect celebrities when I run across them. I say hi. I'm not the type to run and ask for a picture like that. That's just never really been my style. As I see it, they're human just like you and me. So I'm not the biggest, oh my God, celebrity guy. I'm just not, right? But salute to him. They keep making it, this dude, he comes up all the time. Like he made an appearance. Salute to him. Good actor. I think I seen, what was he in? I'm not sure what he was in. Let me see, Academy Award, Met Gala. I'm pretty sure I seen something that he was in because I'm a big movie guy. Of course, Ben Stiller. Salute to Ben Stiller. That's my favorite. I like Ben Stiller. He be going in. But yeah, they keep making a big deal about that dude. So he was at game 3. Spike Lee, of course, all the other celebrities was there. A lot of alumni was there. Let's see. Let's put this up there, and then I'll preview the game and get a move on it. Concerning Jaylen Brunson trends, hurts Knicks in alarming game 3 loss. What's the trend? What, he's taking too many shots? Oh, he found his shot in the fourth quarter of each game? Okay. Continue to shoot his shot. You know what it is with Brunson? And I really do hope that, because I know Brunson pays attention to social media, and I just hope that the narratives on social media doesn't even shape a thought in Jaylen Brunson's mind, because we do not know enough to tell Jaylen Brunson anything about his game, right? When they was making a big deal about the passing, I'm a part of the Jaylen Brunson dribble committee, because when I go to game 3, hold on, when I go to game 3, right? I'm going to go to game 3, and you guys are telling me, oh yeah, Brunson needs to pass the ball. Brunson needs to pass. He needs to come off the rock. He just does too much dribbling, right? Okay, who am I passing it to? Mikal Bridges, yeah, he took 10 shots, 6 of 10. That's nice and efficient, 12 points. But that 12 points is not getting it done. In the first half, Mikal Bridges was looking shy and timid. He get by, I think it was Brown. He gets by Brown, dribble into the mid-range, and he looking to pass the ball. What are you doing, Mikal? Then some of the turnovers he had, I'm like, come on, bro. You're Mikal Bridges. So I'm supposed to give it to the guy in the first half that's scared to shoot. OG Anobi, disappearing acts, 1 of 6. Nobody talks about OG Anobi when he has a bad game. Yes, he was solid defensively on Tatum. I thought he did a good job on Tatum. But the 1 for 6 when you're our third option, that's not getting it done. I'm passing it to him. Big Bodega. I passed it to the Big Bodega. 5 of 18 from the field. 1 of 5 from 3. And some of these threes were settled threes. I'm just going to shoot from 35 feet out because I'm KarlAnthony Towns. I'm the best shooting big man. No. I'm passing it to these guys. Josh Hart, 3 of 9 from the field. 0 of 3 from 3. This is where I need Josh Hart to be money. And then now you want me to take Josh Hart out the lineup and put Mitchell Robinson out there, a dude that went 4 of 12 from the free throw line. Who am I passing the ball to? Yes, when they're rolling, okay, Bridges is rolling. We know he could go for 40. OG's rolling. We know he could go for 35. Towns is rolling. You know he could go for 50, right? Yes, when they're rolling. But when they not rolling, and I'm JB, and I got 7 assists because I am passing the ball. And then in the second half, because in the first half, I'm passing the ball. So in the second half, I got to get my shot now. These dudes is playing scared. We got the best starting lineup in basketball, bro. But when these guys want to pull disappearing acts in big moments, and I'm the captain, and y'all want me to pass the ball, because that's what a point guard is supposed to do, who am I passing it to? Don't even get me started on the bench. Precious Achiuwa was the best player off the bench. He only played 6 minutes. He had 6 points. He came in the game, got to the free throw line, right? Was getting to it. He was the best player. The rest of these dudes, give me a break. Give me a break. Who am I passing the ball to? That's just how I see it. Yes, we know. Listen, I'm not saying Brunson doesn't have to pass the ball. Don't take my take as surface level as that. What I'm saying to you is that Jaylen Brunson is the first option, and these guys got to step up. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart got to be more confident in his open threes. Big Bodega got to be more efficient. If Big Bodega was more efficient and Mitchell Robinson wasn't out there to take 12 free throws, we probably could have won the game. Or at least it would have been a closer game. So yeah. While we here, I'm gonna move. Oh yeah, this was the Towns quote. I know I had it. Yeah, this was it here. I think I broke it right here. ABC crew caught that. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to jump into flagship. We're going to preview game 4, okay? We're going to preview game 4. So game 4, we are minus 6.5. We're plus 6.5. Boston's a minus 6.5. Can't be mad at the odds after they blew us out at home and we're 1-2 in the postseason at home. Can't be mad at the odds. I was mad at plus 10.5 in game 2, but I can't be mad at these odds. Can't be mad at these odds only because they're banking it off of the last game. Realistically, that's why the odds are the way they are. If the game was closer, I think the odds would probably be maybe plus 1.5, but it is what it is. So we got no injuries, like I said, right? No injuries, like I said, which is major. Thank God, Towns. Cause honestly, on the low, I'm thinking like Patrick Ewing. No, cause this is the best center we had since Ewing. So we all seen Ewing. Oh, to the people that go back to those days. We seen us have a promising year, and then Ewing gets hurt, and it's over. We seen that in the postseason. So, I was hoping that this wasn't the case. And the big Bodega, the guy who a lot of people say is soft, all right? The big guy, the big Bodega, he's holding it down. By the way, before I get into a flagship, I'm going to read some of your quotes. And also, if you just joined the chat, this is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 3 of the playoff edition 2025. We're covering the time periods between May 5th and the 11th. Right? And then we talking about some of these topics you see on the screen right now. Okay. Salute to the chat in here heavy. Salute to you, Yuri. I see you. When the defense is ish, the offense is not good. I feel you. This will be Chance says, I'm more worried about the defense. To me, Knicks will be Chance. The defense has been way better than the offense. Way better than the offense. Boston's a slow-paced offense that lives beyond the defense perimeter, slows down their offense more. I thought the defense was fantastic the first 2 games. And what happened in game 3 was they was just hitting the open threes. They hit a lot of the open threes. Pritchard had, how many threes Pritchard had? Pritchard had at least, let me see. Out of his, how many threes he made? Pritchard made 5 threes. At least 3 of these were open. I mean, wide open with nobody in his vicinity. And we could go down the list, right? He's the only one off the bench that, by the way, the Boston Celtics bench besides Pritchard is trash. Just letting you guys know that. You talk about a trash bench. Yeah, this bench is trash, bro. The Celtics bench is trash. Luke Kornet gave them 6 points. But that was mostly off the offensive rebounds. He also had 2 offensive rebounds. KP just 5 points. All on free throws. Has KP even hit it? Yeah, he did hit a 3. I think he hit 1 3 the last game. But Jaylen Brown, 19 points. 2 or 6 or 3. I know at least one of these threes were open. Derek White. Don't remember him getting open threes, but I'm pretty sure he did too. Drew Holiday, both his threes were open, for sure, for 100% fact. And Al Horford, all his threes are open. So they hit a whole bunch of open threes. Tatum got his off the screen. But OG Anunoby, 8 for 20. I mean, that's good defense right there. 22 points, I take that. So I think the defense has been fine. To me, is just the offense is just not good. But you know why? Because the Celtics defense is really good. They got a really good defense. I left my. Oh no. Celtics defense is really good. Next will be Chance said, tell Fat Joe to stay home. Funny. JJ, what you talking about? Oh, see. Oh, Knicks 100. Knicks 100. If you watching this stream, JJ, this is not JJP NYC. So the JJ, you mixed up JJP NYC with JJ. Salute to you, JJ. Nick 100 needs to have a conversation with you. Because he said that there's a JJ in red. Salute to you, JJ in red. Just for the record. And I'm going to also let JJP NYC know in the Discord, because I don't see him in the chat, that the red JJ is here. There's like 3 or 4 JJs that come on here. Salute to FS Wisdom. I don't know who's worse, Stephen A. Smith or Jay Williams. Well, Jay Williams is not a Knicks fan. So even though he did go to Duke, salute to Duke Blue Devils. Let me see. Oh, JJ said he broke his hand. Yeah, so what? So what? He broke it. That don't mean he broke it. How many times you see Jaylen Brunson on the floor grabbing his ankle, right? That time. Came right back in the game. Just because a guy thinks he break it, that don't mean you know your own anatomy, bro. Stephen A. Smith at least respects his stance on the Knicks. I don't want to talk about Stephen A. Smith. I didn't listen to none of his Game 3 rants. I took your advice. I'm not listening to no more short clips from these dudes. I don't need to see it. Let me see. Have Mitch on help defense and perimeter and put Cat and Josh in front court for boards. No, Knicks will be chance. No, that's what we're gonna do. But he don't got to start to do. That's all I'm saying. Knicks will be 25-26. Oh, JJ, you see JJP? You see the other JJ? You see the other JJP? He got you mixed up with the other JJ. Yuri says, I had a convo with someone that believes home losses are due to the players having personal lives. There's no way to know that. They all got personal lives. Whether they're on the road at home, yeah, you just don't know. You don't know the struggles that I have. I'm not even a player. You don't know the struggles that I have in my personal life, but I still got to come on here with the energy, right? So, yeah, we can't use the personal life as an excuse. Okay, I'm gonna continue talking. Keep the comments coming, but I just wanted to make sure JJP NYC see the other JJ that's here. FSism, yeah, but his takes are terrible. Talking about Jay, he said, oh, okay. You talking about Jay Williams? Jay Williams takes is terrible? Or Stephen A? Definitely salute the own Dios. Yeah, nah, JJP, I just want to make sure we clear. Because that's what I was trying to tell him, that there's another JJ that be coming through here. It's a whole bunch of JJs, man. That's like the most common nickname. Like, if you have like 2 J's in your name, JJ. If you a junior, like a Jordan Jr., JJ. Jordan Jackson, JJ. Anytime you got 2 J's in your name, JJ. Let me see. All right. Let me get back to where we was at. Get back to where we are. So game 4. So, in game 4, here's what I hope to happen, right? I'm going to give you what I hope to happen, what I think is going to happen. Coach Tibbs is not changing anything, right? He's not changing anything. He's going to do what he does. And look, to be fair, at this level, this is what got him here, right? None of us is qualified to tell Coach Tibbs what he should do, no matter how we feel as fans. We're just fans, right? The bottom line is, his success got him 2 games up against the defending champions, something that no one hasn't done in their championship run. So what I would like to see is Mitchell Robinson on a short leash. Mitchell Robinson on a short leash. The hacker Mitch is weak, but if their shot is falling and your shot is not falling, you're going to have to pull Mitchell Robinson out the game. You can't keep them out there shooting, missing free throws if their offense is clicking. Now, if their offense is stagnant and you got a lead and you're like, screw it, we're going to prioritize defense. Okay, maybe that might be a reason to keep him on the floor. But if you're down and clearly his free throw shooting is stagnating your offense, you got to mix it up and bring Precious in. Precious has to be the Mitchell Robinson replacement. Now, I know we don't like him as a 5. A lot of you guys don't like him, period. On Dios, I know you. I don't think you're a fan of him either, on Dios. Right? A lot of you guys are not fans of Precious. But I'm going to say this. In that 6 minutes he played, you seen his value. He keeps the Celtics defense honest because when he gets in the game, he's the 5th guy you have to guard. See, they can play off of Mitchell Robinson, right? As long as they keep somebody there to box him out when the ball goes up, but you don't need to guard Mitchell Robinson, especially if he's not in the dunker spot. Now, if he's in the dunker spot, yeah, you got to keep a guy there. But at the same time, when Mitchell Robinson is setting screens and doing other things on the floor in other places where, you know, sometimes you get caught in space, they can help off of Mitchell Robinson, right? And use that to guard. And this is what they could do. Like, so when you got guys who can attack the basket and you need help on the backside, you be comfortable with leaving Mitch. You might give up a lob or 2, but he's not Mitchell Robinson. How many shots did Mitchell Robinson take the last game? I mean, come on, dude. Look, Mitchell Robinson took 4 shots. He went 1 of 4. And Mitchell Robinson's not killing you, man. So I would put Mitchell on the short leash. right? I know we love his defenses and rebounds, but if they running a hack of Mitch, you got to get him out of there, especially when you running double big. If Mitchell Robinson is getting fouled and you got Towns on the floor and now they running hack of Mitch, you're killing Towns because that's Towns' time to eat. So I would put pressures out there with Towns. Hack of Mitch, double big lineup, pull Mitch, put pressures out there. Simple. That's what I would like to see. What probably will happen is Tibbs is just going to continue to ride with how he been riding. You know, he's just going to be like, hey, man, look, this is what got me here. I'm going to go with Mitch, and I'm praying that on the defensive end, we could get some stops. OG, like I kind of hinted towards it before, he went 1 for 6. OG and Anobi, I would like to see his offense get rolling because he keeps Tatum honest, right? It's good to have somebody attack Tatum. That's what the Magic were able to do with Wagner and Ben Carroll, right? Tatum found himself having to match up with bigger guys and having to play defense and box out and rebound. OG Anunoby, to me, he keeps him honest. You can't allow guys to be like, okay, well, OG's not a threat to score, so Tatum now, he's sagging off and he's helping, right? You got to help Brunson. Brunson's job is a lot harder when guys can't make open shots and guys are not creating opportunities to score, because the Celtics, they literally will key in all their defensive efforts on him. I think if OG Anunoby's the third option on his team, he has to step up, and it's time for him to look like a third option, okay? And I actually expect OG to have a good game tonight. I'm not going to say it's going to be the greatest game. I think that OG Anunoby will bounce back and is at home, and I think he'll be fine. And as long as his defense continues on Tatum, I think that that's a win. So I'm hopeful that OG's offense will turn around, but I'm also expecting his offense to turn around as well, right? And of course, Mikal Bridges, whether he's the third or fourth option, clearly you see his value in mid-range, because I said this in doing my 2-hour preview of the series when I gave you the 10 reasons why the Knicks will beat the Boston Celtics. I said that the Celtics, they are vulnerable to guys that can attack, especially guys with size, but, you know, like Towns. Attacking the basket, right? Driving, getting opportunities towards the basket, and in mid-range. That's the soft part of Boston's defense. So Mikal Bridges literally could get 20 points easy in the mid-range. He just has to be aggressive. I watched this dude get by Brown and then cower. Like, what are you doing? And then pass the ball and then turnovers. You're Mikal Bridges, bro. We traded 5 first-round picks for a reason. We believe in you, Mikal. It's time for you to show out. All right. And now the glass, even though we did win the rebounding battle last game, I do think that dominating, you know, getting +5 on the glass, like really taking it to them, keeping them off the glass, especially if they're missing shots. Be mindful of the Boston Celtics on the offensive glass, because in game 3, they had 12 offensive rebounds. And I told you the magic number for them is 11. Anytime they got 11 or more offensive rebounds, they were 37-13 in the regular season. They're a really good rebounding team. And usually they're grabbing offensive rebounds because their shooting is not that well. So not only was their shooting pretty solid, especially from three-point land, they were still able to get 12 offensive rebounds. And how many of these offensive rebounds became a second chance threes? Got to limit the second chance threes. That's what I'm expecting tonight, guys. Knicks got to be very dominant on the defensive glass. We only had 26 defensive rebounds. Even though I take the offensive rebound, I love it because we wasn't shooting well. 17 offensive rebounds, that's really good. But yeah, that's my preview for tonight's game. Let me see. Knicks will be champs say. Precious can defend the 3 through 5. He's vital and being used incorrectly. Facts, Knicks will be champs. He's not even being used at all. I'm riding with you, Knicks will be champs. Precious is not being used at all. And to me, he keeps the Celtics defense honest. With him on the floor, the Celtics have 5 guys to worry about that could put the ball in the basket, right? I told you, they're like a old video game, boss. You know, the bosses in the old video games, the bad guys, they always had that one weakness. They be all scary and big with muscles, but they would have that one area. And to me, the one area that the Celtics are weak at is their big guys, putting their big guys in pick and roll, doing some of the things that they do onto others, forcing the mismatches on the big, which is a big time adjustment that Coach Tibbs discovered in either definitely game 4, but I think even a little bit of game 3 in the regular season against the Celtics, where you start to see Hart setting screens for Brunson, right? So good stuff there. Good take. Let me see what else you got. Salute to Maxine in the building. All right, cool. So I'm going to move on. That was the flagship. I'm going to jump into the comment of the week. By the way, I'm not sure if Nick Shack is in the building, but Nick Shack, you got the comment of the week this year, right? I did a poll the other day talking about Leon Rose. He was slighted. They gave Sam Presti the GM of the Year award, but Leon Rose was not even a top 10. Well, he was number 10 in voting in GMs of the Year award, right? So I did a poll, was he snubbed? And we'll get into the results of this poll in a second with Word on the Street, but Nick Shack had a great response to this poll. He said the winning GM award after sucking for years with many lottery picks, while Leon Rose used second-round picks and trades to make a competitive team even better with a chance for a chip, and the way the playoffs is breaking. Salute to Nick Shack, right? I agree with pretty much everything you said here. Leon Rose, to me, out of all of the top GMs, he had to make the most changes. What change did OKC do? They've signed Isaiah Hartenstein. You didn't have to figure nothing out. Like there was no trade that you had to make to get Hartenstein. They got Hartenstein. Literally, that was the one thing they did. And if you want to talk about the Caruso trade, when that happened, that might have been over the summer. But I mean, OKC is the benefit of previous years of what they've done. And salute to OKC. They're in a really good place. But when you say GM of the year, I'm thinking of the moves that Leon Rose made this year. Right? You got KarlAnthony Towns right before media day. You got whatchamacallit? Mikal Bridges with the 5-pick trade, right? He literally, they said that he had the corkscrew the Knicks salary into a press screw in order to make a team. That's literally what he had to do. He's working with hundreds of thousands of dollars to put together the roster and put together a team out there that's competitive, that goes out and gets 51 wins, despite their star player missing 17 games down the stretch in the season. There's no way Leon Rose is not at least a top 5 GM. Now, one thing I will say that Leon did have some first-round picks because he did trade the 5 first-round picks for Mikal. So we can't just say second-round picks. He did have some first-round picks. He just used them all, right? But whereas OKC got lucky by drafting some really good players and not having to make trades for stars, because that's what we did. Right, they pretty much home grew all their stars. SGA, well, they traded for SGA, but Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, those guys are homegrown. So salute to Nick Shack for that. If you're in the building, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let's back out of here. That was the comment of the week. Smoke of the week. Uh-oh, yeah. I'm going to have to spend a little time here, even though I got to move. First off, dog growls. This was after the Boston Celtics blew the first 2 games at home, right? So Boston Sports Talk radio host Michael Felger, right? This dude went on a tirade after the Knicks got a win. And he said this: the Knicks still blow. They're trash. They're garbage. Because he's mad that this Boston Celtics lost. I am not taking them seriously. I am still not taking them seriously. Right? Is what he said. And then his other host said, me either. I still think the Celtics are winning the series. Okay. If I had to put my money on it, that's where I bet it. I'll take the odds and bet Celtics for sure. And the Knicks still blow. Don't let the Celtics off the hook by saying, oh, the Knicks are. No, They're not. They're trash. You felt they were trash 5 days ago. You thought they were trash 5 weeks ago. And you thought they were trash 5 months ago, 5 years ago. Because you know why? They're trash. They're garbage. So he gets the smoke of the week. Dog growls. You know, it's funny to me, right, that these independent media, radio shows, whoever, they got to do things like this to get radio clicks and views and you know, listeners and impressions and all these things because the ratings are down all across the board. So this brother right here goes on a tirade against the Knicks when his coach, Joe Mazzulla, mad respectful of the Knicks. The Knicks are a good team. Derek White, the Knicks are a good team. Your Celtics are taking this Knicks team very seriously. And if they do think the Knicks suck, they're not saying it publicly. So the Boston Celtics, your coach, your franchise, your beloved franchise, is giving the Knicks all of the love. All of the love. Now, this is what I'm talking about, right? When I say, like, when you got to get to ad hominem attacks, and you said that they are trash, and you don't give any reasoning, like, you don't say, well, you know, they're last in this, their three-point defense is this, and this, that, and third, that's just coming across as hate. If they were so trash, how could they get the first 2 wins in Boston? Think about that. You're saying a team that is trash went into Boston and got the first 2 wins. So what does that say about your Celtics? What does that say about your Celtics? Because even though I think the Knicks could still win against the Celtics in 5, I'm not going to say the Celtics are trash. I give the Celtics their respect. I think they're beatable just like any other team is beatable. I mean, we've seen everybody get exposed in this playoffs. OKC, Cleveland, everybody gets exposed. So to have this take, it's laughable. Because you give the Knicks so much respect indirectly, right? And directly, right? Whether it's hacker Mitch, you running a hacker. Think about it. There's a lot of centers in this league that can't shoot free throws. How often do you see a hacker anybody in the league right now? You don't hack at nobody if you don't think that they're good. You run the hack because you're scared they're going to kill you. The Celtics know the Knicks can explode. The Celtics know that the Knicks have the 5th ranked offense in basketball. I'm going to tell you what is trash. Your radio show is trash. If this is the analysis that you're going to give on Boston Celtics radio, it's trash. It's hot garbage. And you're doing anything for clicks and views. And it's not going to help. Because the ratings are down. Nobody listens to radio, fam. I guarantee you they get probably way more views on YouTube. I don't know. I would never go into that godforsaken show and watch it. But when you coming for my New York Knicks and you ain't got no substance, you see I get on the internet and I drew 10 reasons, very detailed, with all types of stats. I didn't just say, oh, yeah, the Boston Celtics, they trash, and that's why we going to beat them. They shoot too many threes. What is the definition of trash? Because if we're trash, then Boston's trash. They lost 2 games at home to a trash team. They might lose 3 games at home. That's how I see it. Boston has not been a great home team in the postseason. I said it in the preview. I said the Cavaliers, last year's Cavs beat them at home, right? And in last year's Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler beat them at home. The Celtics got chinks in their armors. But these dudes is just laughable, bro. Laughable. I would love to get on a panel with these guys. I know it'll be insults because that's all you got. I'm coming with sound basketball knowledge. I'm going to say this, and the third. We could debate why the Knicks are not trash. Let's do that debate. I'm going to go down all the accolades and all the records we broke this year. And you got to show me in your soliloquy why the Knicks are trash. Man, get these dudes out of here. I think I spent enough time talking about this goddamn Celtics, man, and their radio hosts and fans. By the way, the Celtics fans are the worst. First off, you guys are cowards. Yeah. I'm not going to say all Celtics fans. I'm going to say a lot of you Celtic fans are cowards. Oh, and I forgot to put on the screen how y'all was beating up Knicks fans and outside the arena. Did you see any clips of Celtic fans getting beat up? We don't do that in New York. It's only two of y'all anyway, so why are we going to beat y'all up? It's only two of y'all coming out to New York. We go out in busloads to Boston, okay? Your fan base is trash, bro. I'm going to keep it real. Most of your fan base is trash. Y'all talk so much smack to me on TikTok, and you talk so much trash in my YouTube comments, and y'all don't show up after. Where y'all at? I told the Detroit fans, don't disappear. They disappear. And guess what's going to happen to you dudes? You guys going to be making up all these excuses. Oh, Tatum had the wrist, and Brown, he had the knee, and KP can't breathe. I don't give a damn about that. You lost. And guess what? You're going to lose. And you get on your radio show with no pride. I'm done talking about these clowns. Anyway. Let's see. Mitch has talked about the Celtics has not shoot well until game 3. Boston can be trash and they could be the best team. Start playing Ariel. Ariel doesn't get time. Ariel's not getting no time. You see what you guys talking about. Size 9, imagine you got the surgery right and the media slanders your name. Are we talking about KarlAnthony Towns' surgery? He's not on the injury report. Cat does not have a broken hand. Where do you see, size 9, where did you see Cat has a broken hand? Not in none of the reports, my good friend. I just pulled it up. We just looked at it. He practiced yesterday. Look. It's not on the report. If he broke his hand, it would be here. All right, let me keep it moving. By the way, if you just joined, this is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 3 of the 2025 playoff edition. Just went through the flagship topic. Just went through the comment of the week and the smoke of the week. Definitely hit that like button. If you didn't smash it already, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Salute. We did just get a subscriber. It popped up on the screen. I didn't get the chance to see the name, but salute to everybody who did subscribe. Keep subscribing. We're on the road to 2,000, but our pit stop is 1,300. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Help join the movement, okay? I'm going to go into Word on the Street. And also, as I'm going into Word on the Street, I'm going to talk about the channel membership for those of you guys who are subscribed and want to consider more, getting more access to this channel. So we do have 2 channel memberships on this channel, okay? We got the Starter Knicks fan and the Hardcore Knicks fan. I'm going to go talk about the Starter Knicks fan. Now, when you join the Starter Knicks fan package, you'll get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which a lot of the guys you see, especially with the green badges, those guys, for the most part, are in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, where we have a 24/7 Knicks chat. We're going to be up in there. They're in there probably right now talking, but then we also going to be in there tonight talking about the game. We do a lot of live, talk during the game. I won't be able to do a post game tonight. I just thought about that because I could have did a post game tonight, but for game 5, I'll do a post game. Now, so you get access to the Discord. We also talk about all sports too. So even when the summer hits, I mean, you already know the off season, we're going to be talking about the Knicks all summer, but we also talk about the NBA. We also talk about NFL. We also talk about everything. Okay. It's a great chat to be a part of. That's one of the perks you get when you become a member. It's not the only thing you get. I do have members only live chats. I didn't get a chance to do one yesterday because it was Mother's Day. And like I said, I was spending time with all the mothers, my lady and then my mom. So I didn't have no time to do no members live yesterday. But usually on Sunday afternoons, I do a member only live chats. But next Sunday we should be good to go. But I do members only live shows. I also do members only streams as well. Members get priority replies to comments. I get a lot of comments. So if you got something that you wanted me to see, I make sure I look for the green badge. Make sure I get that response. I do this series called The Unfiltered Thought, which is like a video where I just kind of talk about things that I don't really want to talk about on a regular YouTube, or it is what it is. It just might be just a random thought at 3 a.m. So you get access to the Unfiltered Thought series. The last video I did was, what was it about? I don't remember what the last one I did. Hold on, I can pull it up right quick though. Let's see. The last joint I did was the 0-10. Yeah. I just gave my unfiltered thoughts on the whole 0-10 narrative. How many of you guys remember that, right? Okay, cool. So I don't know why it's not popping up. Hold on, refresh it. So you get those photos and status updates, and still not done. Of course, members get shouted out, and of course you get discounted on discount on the merch that I showed you earlier on shop.theobjectiveknicksfans.com. So you become a member, you get a discount on all your merchandise purchases. Okay, so that's why you should consider joining the channel. If you are a subscriber, hit the join button. And if you aren't subscribed, at least hit the subscribe button and hit that like button, everyone. All right, cool. I'm going to get to word on the street, and I think this is the last topic we talk about. All right, cool. So I'm going to start here. And I just talked about the GM of the Year award last time, right? The GM of the Year award was given to Sam Presti of the Oklahoma City Thunder, while Leon Rose did not rank in the top 5. Was this a snub? 29% says he should have won. I'm riding with you. I think he should have won too. But I'm trying to think of the other GMs and what they did. I know the Luka trade probably trumped the Towns trade as the biggest trade of the season. But at the same time, to me, I mean, when you look at the success the Knicks are having as opposed to the Lakers, you got to consider that, you know, the Knicks, that move is probably the most impactful move out of them all, because it got us to where we are now and possibly on the verge of beating, you know, the defending champions. I know the Wolves are doing good with Randall, but they're beating the Warriors. I mean, come on. They're beating a 7th seed Warriors, right? It's a little different when you beat the defending champions, who was a 2 seed. Anyway, 62% say top 5. I could ride with that too. And 9% says he's not a top 5 GM. Leon Rose is starting to get the hate. I don't know why. I just don't get it. With the Knicks gaining a commanding 2-0 lead in the series, how long will it last? Okay, now I know we lost game 3. I'm sticking to my Knicks in 5. So the Knicks in 4 people, 30%, you guys were out of here. I never really thought it would be a sweep. But Knicks in 5, we still alive. 36% say Knicks in 5. 27% say Knicks in 6 or 7. And 6% say Celtics in 6 or 7. Whatever. Okay, game 3 is a must win for the Knicks. I said no, and the reason why I say no is because I don't think that the Knicks had to win game 3 to be 3-0 to win the series. A lot of people felt that Knicks could only win by going up 3-0. Right? I think we could go up tonight and go up 3-1. So I said no. But out of the 300 votes, 82% of you guys thought it was a must win. Okay? And this will be the last one. Following the Knicks' disappointing game 3 loss to the Boston Celtics, how concerned are you about winning this series? I'm going to say I'm not worried. We'll be all right. So out of the 258 votes, 37% say I'm not worried. 31% say slightly concerned. And 33% say very concerned. Okay? So that's all for Word on the Street, man. And I want to give some salutes before I get up out of here. Salute to JJPNYC. I see you. Let's see. Lloyd's brother, Anagrill, 1. Okay. Wait, so are you Lloyd's brother, Anagrill, 1? So is this Anagrill? Lloyd's brother. Okay. Rose and Detroit GM did more than Presti. Facts. Oh, yeah. Detroit GM. Because, yeah, all the veteran moves that they made in Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. Yep. Detroit definitely belongs up there. Okay. Salute to you, Anagrill, right? Or Lawyer. Or I'm not sure. You said Lloyd's brother, Anagrill. Okay. So you're the brother of Anagrill. Okay, cool. I got it. Let's see. Celtics in 6 tell the Bronx Rats to go back home. I forgot to put this as subscriber only mode, guys. I messed up. We got a Celtics fan in the house. Listen, old Russell, I hope you stick around to the end of the series, all right? Let's see. You got a better chance seeing a car transform into a robot than you heard. Seeing Aria Hook Party. Salute to you, Knicks will be champs. Let's see. Much to talk about. Celtics has not shot well till game 3. We have not shot well as of yet. Let that sink in. It's a fact. And I think it could be tonight. You go up 3-1, it's inevitable you win. Cat was caught in the rock in a hard place. Okay, cool. I just want to give a big time salute to everybody that tuned in. This is the podcast. This is all I got for you. Salute to JJ. We got a mix up with the JJs. Salute to JJP NYC. Right? Salute to Size 9. Salute to Yuri. Salute to Nice. Salute to Knicks will be champs 25-26. Nick Tate Madness Discord server channel member. Salute to Yuri. Once again. Salute to On Dios, the super mod. Okay. Salute to Monkey Wrench. Yes, let's go. What's up with the Knicks? What else I didn't say? Salute to Maxine, the great Maxine, of course. FS Wisdom. Let's go. Channel member. Salute. I'm still not sure if FS Wisdom is you're inside the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Let's see. Who else is in the building? Everybody, listen. Salute to everybody that tuned in, man. This is all I got for you guys today. This was episode 3. I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. We're going to do the post-game show Wednesday night, late night, after midnight show. You know how we get down to all the vampires. A lot of you guys are vampires. You guys need to go to bed. But don't follow me. Trust me, man. It's hard staying up late. But some of you guys, you work late, and it works out good for me as well, man. But that's all I got for you guys. And I think the Knicks will win tonight. So until next time, let's go Knicks. And it's still Knicks in 5. I'm not changing until otherwise.